Aloha and welcome to Home Sweet Home Hawaii, your go-to channel for all things real estate in Hawaii. My name is Chris Shomo, real estate agent and founder of Home Sweet Home Hawaii Real Estate, brokered by eXp Realty. Today we're going to be shedding some light on why people are leaving Hawaii, so you know what you're getting into before you up and bring your whole family here, or if you're in the military, before you request through your detailer to be assigned to Hawaii for your next duty station on your dream sheet to PCS to Hawaii. It's not all glamorous, but with the negatives, we'll also offer positive solutions and workarounds to the cons of living here in Hawaii. So let's dive right in. Hawaii's strategic location in the Pacific Ocean has made it an important center for various military operations and training activities over the years. If you're short on time, the 11 current and former major military bases in Hawaii are Schofield Barracks, Fort Shafter, Tripler Army Medical Center, the Marine Corps Base Hawaii, Pearl Harbor Naval Bases, the Coast Guard bases, Hickam Air Force Base, Wheeler Army Airfield, and a couple others. During World War II especially, the strategic value of Hawaii became evident, and after the Pearl Harbor attack in 1941, Hawaii functioned as a nerve center and staging ground for major Allied operations in the Pacific Theater. Hawaii is one of the most beautiful places to live in the United States. So why do thousands of people move away every year? Are there specific drivers and patterns to these decisions to leave the islands? Or is it the same three reasons that most Americans statistically make a move? Those three being too far from family, job transfers, and high cost of living as well as housing. Now, the islands have 14 military bases with about 250,000 people who are military families. And those military families move on average every 3 years when the service members transfers to a different location or what we call permanent change of station or PCSing. But that said, today's conversation doesn't touch too much on that segment of the population. We have a whole special video for our military population, and we'll post a link to that below for you to check out if you're in the military considering making a move to Hawaii. What this does include are people who are born and raised in Hawaii, as well as people who have made their home here on their own and then made the decision to move away. Now, maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves by saying this, but often what happens after a family moves away from the islands is reality strikes, and then they realize they want nothing more than to move back on the islands. So then they spend years doing everything they can to figure out how to get back. This happens more often than you think, and it happens a lot. There really is just no place like Hawaii. So if you're weighing the decision to move to Hawaii or weighing a decision to move away from Hawaii, this video is for you. Today, we're going to talk about some of the main reasons people are saying a sad aloha, farewell, goodbye to the islands, and why living in Hawaii works for some, but not for others. And along with each challenge, we're going to share solutions or tips that can really make the difference. So with all that said, let's jump right in. Hi, my name is Chris. Welcome to our YouTube channel, Home Sweet Home Hawaii. Whether your move is in 9 days or 90 days, feel free to give us a call or shoot us a text or send us an email. Our contact info is below. Here at Home Sweet Home Hawaii, we're here to make your move as smooth and stress-free as possible. Aloha. Welcome back to our video segment. First on the list of reasons people leave Hawaii is the astronomical high costs of living on this island. And under this topic, we're going to discuss several different challenges. So starting off at number 9, so about this high cost of living. Living in Hawaii seems like a dream to many, but the harsh reality is that there is a price to living in paradise. And ultimately, this is an issue that pushes thousands of people to leave each year. With inflation and housing and living costs on the rise, it's likely more people will be faced with a decision to stay or go. A study by the National Tax Foundation found that $100 in Hawaii is only worth about $87 in real value, which means you're getting less money for your buck. Just to compare, $100 in Mississippi is worth $115 or 15% more. And get this, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development sees a family of 4 in Hawaii making less than $93,000 a year as low income. Hawaii's cost of living index sits at a hefty 184. Now, just in a sentence, this cost of living index measures the average cost of living against the national average, which is a score of 100. So this includes the prices of housing, transportation, food, healthcare, goods and services, and other things. So you should know Hawaii has the highest cost of living index in the whole country, close to double the national average. So why is it so expensive? The main reason behind these crazy high costs is the fact that Hawaii is so isolated. Since we're surrounded by water, pretty much everything must be brought in by boat or plane, which just jacks up transportation costs. Sending stuff from the west coast of the mainland US to Hawaii can cost up to 3 times more than sending it to even Australia. And the culprit here is an old law called the Jones Act from 1920 that seriously needs to be abolished to keep our costs down. This law says that all items shipped between US ports has to go on US-owned, US flagged ships, mostly staffed by US crews. So this means no using cheaper foreign ships, even if they're passing right by Hawaii anyway. For example, a ship that's coming from, let's just say China, can't drop off a bunch of cargo in Honolulu unless it's on its way to LA. It has to haul everything to the West Coast, transfer it to a pricier US ship, and then send it back to Hawaii. This of course makes shipping super expensive and in turn jacks up all of our costs. A recent study found that this Jones Act thing costs Hawaii about $1.2 billion every year, which works out to around $1,800 for an average family. So what's the solution? Number one, you need to have the income to support your lifestyle here. You've got to run the numbers. What do you and your family need to live on comfortably? And of course, measure that against your income. There are online tools too that can be helpful. Cost of living calculators, for example, where you can compare your current city to, let's say, Honolulu. And number two, where you live and shop makes a big difference. We'll talk about housing in a minute, but as far as shopping, everyone here has a membership with Costco or Sam's Club, and the military families shop at the commissary. And some families do all three. Amazon can be very important too. Prime membership gets things to your door generally in 3 to 5 days, unless you live in a very remote area. In terms of groceries, farmers markets are big here too. We also have several Whole Foods and Targets, and it's always nice to be able to shop local to support the farms and other businesses on the island. On the other hand, if you shop at the grocery stores like Times, Foodland, and Safeway for your primary grocery needs, your overall cost will probably be 30 to 40% higher than at Costco, for example. Number 8 on the list is high housing costs. So let's talk about another factor, and that is the cost of housing. According to the Honolulu Board of Realtors, the average price for a single-family home back in 2022 was $1,050,000, up 14% from the year before. Now today in 2024, the median price for a single-family home is now hovering about $1.1 million, and condos are going over $500,000 as of November 2023. Despite these prices, people are still scrambling for housing in condos because there's just not enough to go around, and of course that scarcity continues to drive prices higher. Now, why is housing scarce in the first place? Hawaii is about the size of New Jersey in terms of land mass. Hawaii has about 1.4 million residents, but New Jersey has about 9.3 million residents. Well, one of the answers to this has to do with zoning restrictions. Only 5% of the land in Hawaii is set aside for urban development, which really limits where new homes can go up. And with not enough land to meet demand, prices just keep going up. Back in 2018, the average cost per square foot of housing on Oahu was $547, way higher than the national average of $114. As for the high cost of homes, you can't really get around the price tags here on Oahu. Like I mentioned, the average sales price of a single-family home on Oahu hovers around 1.1. Typically, you can't get into single-family homes any less than $850,000. Townhomes generally start in the $650,000 to $750,000 range, and the average condominium price hovers around $510,000. But that includes a wide variety from studios to 3-bedroom condos. But where the huge price tag of homes hits the average buyer, where a lot of people find their solution is with creative financing. Different lenders have different programs and options for financing, and this is often what makes the difference in being able to buy or not. Sometimes a buyer can assume the interest rate of the seller if you're buying when interest rates are super high, and the options for loans are constantly changing. And there are first-time homebuyer incentive programs with low money down. There are zero down government loans called USDA loans, and 3 to 5% low down payment FHA and conventional financing options. And for our wonderful military buyers, the VA loan programs offer no money down, where you can borrow over $2 million and not even have to pay any PMI, which is private mortgage insurance. And they can also get their closing costs tied into their mortgage as well. Also, this is important to know that if you're a surviving spouse of a military serviceman or woman, you're also entitled to the VA benefit. Let's talk briefly about the cost to rent versus buying. So if you can afford to live in Hawaii in the first place, and if you plan to own a home for 3 years or more, not just holding it as an investment property long-term, then it's usually worth buying instead of renting. So let's say the average single-family 3-bedroom, 2-bath home costs $4,000 a month to rent. And that's each year, that's $48,000 in rent. Over the course of 3 years, that's $144,000 that's going to the landlord. That's a whole lot of money being wasted, and keeping in mind the appreciation level increases about 4.7% annually at least. That's why we always recommend buying versus renting. Now, if you're interested in learning more about buying here on the island, always feel free to give us a call. We work with some of the best lenders on island, and you can get connected to the right lender for your situation. So another point, you can expect to downsize if you're moving to Oahu from an area where homes are large and land is cheap. There may be some other sacrifices like that, and as we see in Hawaii, it is the price of paradise. So number 7 on our list is the cost of utilities. Hawaii has the highest electricity bills in the whole country, with people paying an average of almost $400 a month compared to the national average of $147 a month. Yeah, it kind of stings. And unfortunately, it's only going to get worse with Hawaiian Electric planning to hike rates by another 20%. As for the cost of water, let's say for a family of 4, you'll probably pay around $175 a month. Not the worst, but not the cheapest either. So what's the solution for dealing with high electricity costs? Solar has become a significant relief to dealing with these high prices. And depending on where you live on the island, you can rely on natural breezes year-round, and homes in neighborhoods that get great trade winds often don't have an HVAC system at all. And on the other hand, homes in the hotter regions like the leeward side, like Kapolei and Ewa Beach, almost all rely on AC, especially in the summer. There is a trade-off though, as the homes on the leeward side tend to be newer and you get much more home for the cost. Other solutions include using a timer on your hot water heater or installing solar just for the hot water heater. And number 6 on the list is high taxes. Money plays a big role on why people are living in Hawaii, which I'm sure you figured out by now. Now, the average income in Honolulu is around $74,000 a year, which is higher than the national average of just shy of $60,000. And income tax is 11%, which is the second highest income tax rate in the whole country. Now, we don't have a sales tax, but instead we have a general excise tax, what we call GET. The rate varies slightly from island to island, ranging from 4% to 4.5%. All of that said, the good news is Hawaii has the lowest property tax in the United States. So while you're forking it out in one place, you're paying less in another. Now, the next reason on our list for why people leave Hawaii isn't related to cost. Number 5 is limited job opportunities and career growth. The island's isolation also means limited jobs. The 2 top largest economic drivers are tourism and the military-industrial complex, also known as the defense industry. While a lot of the usual industries are also represented here, it's really not a very diverse job market. Hawaii Pacific Health is the largest employer that's headquartered in Hawaii, and they have around 7,100 employees. Now, conversely, Hawaii's isolated location and small talent pool makes it hard for businesses to find new employees and expand. There is always a demand for reliable, skilled blue-collar workers. Filling white-collar positions can be especially difficult to do, from C-level positions to specialty jobs that require specific certifications, in the IT field, for example. So this point for some people will certainly be a con, but for others, this is a major pro when the job skills match up with Hawaii's demand. Now, the unemployment rate is usually low here, around 3%, although that doesn't tell the whole story because of the limited opportunity. In 2023, Hawaii's GDP growth ranked 41st nationally, according to the Bureau of Economic Analysis. Now, if you're considering a move to Hawaii, it's important to know that most Hawaii-based employers won't even consider an application from someone who's not already on the island for a couple of reasons. Unless you're a C-level executive. Employers, they don't know necessarily if an applicant is actually going to make the move to Hawaii when it comes down to it, so it can be too risky. And local businesses, they prefer hiring folks who've been here for a while or who are from here originally because they're more likely to stick around. Of course, no well-run businesses want more turnover than necessary. So just doing your homework ahead of time to know if your skills are a good fit for these types of careers, that's really what's important here. Another con to keep in mind is the pay may also be lower relative to the cost of living than most places on the mainland. One popular path is, of course, working from home. It might mean working East Coast hours, which will have you up early and then taking the whole afternoon off. Some people prefer that kind of work-life balance, especially when the beautiful beaches are right outside your door. Next on our list of reasons people leave Hawaii are difficulties for families with children. And this covers several topics. So the cost of childcare or schools might be a factor for families. If you have school-aged kids or an infant and you'll be relying on a daycare or you're planning on sending your kids to private school, you'll want to make sure to look at the costs too. Childcare in Hawaii averages almost $14,000 a year just for daycare for toddlers. That's even more than what it costs for a year of in-state tuition here at the University of Hawaii. The average price of childcare could eat up to 35% of a single parent's income, or 12% of a dual income household. Additionally, it can get pretty hard to snag a spot in daycare. So how do we as families deal with the challenges as residents? It does mean working harder to find openings, because here in Hawaii, home daycares are very popular. This is one solution that helps bring costs down. There's even a local website for finding licensed childcare options, and it shows the openings. This website is called patchhawaii.org, and it's updated quarterly. So the best thing is to reach out to the daycares in the area that you're looking in. Also, the options for home daycares tend to cost a little less than the average daycare. Another solution is to reserve the spot in traditional daycares well in advance, when you can. As far as schools, this can be a high priority when it comes to choosing an area to live. Plan ahead for this and use niche.com and greatschools.org to look at the various factors for the best schools for all your family's needs. So number 3 on the list is healthcare. Hawaii has a doctor shortage. On Oahu, it's about 13% based on averages used in the U.S. physician services by specialty. And according to our local news channel KITV Island News, on other islands that number is higher, like Maui is sitting at 43% shortage. We live on an island and healthcare options are limited. For certain subspecialties, there may be only 1 to 2 of those doctors on Oahu, so it can take some time to get in to see a specialist. Now, of course, since Oahu is the most populated island with almost 1 million people, we have the majority of healthcare options on this island by comparison to the other islands. So it's not uncommon for patients from other islands to fly to Oahu to see some specialists. So just keep that in mind if you're looking to buy in Maui or Kauai or the Big Island. In some circumstances, for rare conditions, a person may have to fly to the mainland. So it's important to plan when you can for this. So in other words, establish care with whatever specialists you know you'll need as soon as you can. Now, all that said, according to another local news source, the Star Advertiser, Hawaii has scored high when it comes to health outcomes and healthy behaviors, health insurance coverage, and access to care, despite these long-standing concerns about a shortage of providers, particularly in rural areas and the neighbor islands. Now, all this said, here's some great news. Hawaii holds first place when it comes to the states with the longest life expectancy, with the average lifespan of 80.7 years. And it's the only state to hit 80 and higher. You'll see this ranking across multiple lists, including the CDC. So although healthcare options are limited, perhaps it's outweighed by the quality of life from the ability to be outside, getting exercise in the temperate weather, all year round. My own father lived to the incredible age of 92, enjoying his last days at an ocean view condo with natural ocean breezes. He just loved the lifestyle he had here on Oahu. Number 2 on the list is island fever. As beautiful as Oahu may be, its island environment doesn't satisfy everyone in the long run. Some people just don't like the concept of island living and become restless. Maybe they're missing city-style entertainment, amenities, or the ease of travel. You know, the option to get in the car and take a road trip across the country. We call it island fever. Kids who grow up here sometimes feel they just need to get off the rock to spread their wings and experience more of what the world has to offer. They often go off to universities on the mainland. The solution to avoid island fever has an easy answer. Apart from burying yourself in work, and that is to travel. Take advantage of the proximity to so many fantastic places. My family and I, we love to travel, and it's not uncommon for families to go off island 2 to 3 times a year for a couple weeks at a time. Hawaii is an incredible location to live if you love international travel. You can easily fly to Japan, Australia, New Zealand, Thailand, Fiji, Alaska, Vancouver. Now, some of the mainland destinations that are hotspots for Hawaii residents are Southern California and Las Vegas. Las Vegas is so popular that it's nicknamed the 9th island of Hawaii. And it's also easy to do staycations in Hawaii, to visit other islands and just decide last minute to take a weekend trip somewhere. Now, the last reason on our list, and this is not in any specific order, but it's distance to family. Now, I don't know if this could really be a reason for you, but it can be hard to be far from a close-knit family. For those who have family or grandchildren that live on the mainland, the desire or the need to be near family sometimes becomes the reason for that decision to pick up roots and move. Remember, the mainland is over 2,500 miles away, so flying is pretty much the only way to get on or off the island other than by cruise ship. That means a minimum of a 5-hour flight just to get to the West Coast. And over the holidays, the flights can get costly. This might mean having to do more planning and budgeting for any trips off the island. So if you have family and you want to stay close with them, then include in your budget some plans to fly to see them. All that said, since Hawaii, of course, is such an incredible destination, usually people who move to Hawaii, well, they're gonna have family visiting and friends visiting. For people who love to host, not to worry. You'll have guests frequently asking to come visit. So there you have it, 9 reasons that people move away from Hawaii. Now, one more point to talk about is something that's not on this list, and this may come as a surprise that this isn't a significant reason for people leaving Hawaii. Have you guessed it? We're talking about hurricanes. In Hawaii, we do indeed have hurricane season, but this isn't really a reason why people leave. Why is that? Well, thanks to the cooler water temperatures and the mountainous terrain of Hawaii, it's kind of rare for hurricanes and tropical storm activity to come near our islands. Tropical systems actually need warmer water to develop and intensify. Now, hurricanes can certainly be a fear for some people who aren't familiar with living in Hawaii. But what we need to clarify on this is the hidden challenge that has to do with Hawaii having a weak infrastructure. What I mean by that is our power grid is in need of upgrading. So the more practical concern of hurricanes is the loss of power due to wind. A lot of residents keep a supply of food and water and other necessities on hand for hurricane season. And that's not only to prepare for outages themselves, but because some people wait until the last minute and like to clear out the shelves. So just don't wait until the day before to buy your toilet paper and water. I would say this isn't really a reason that people move away from Hawaii, but it's more of an inconvenience or a con of living on Oahu to be aware of and something that we as residents need to prepare for. And this is even more so the case for the old neighborhoods that have above ground power lines. Despite these challenges, very few can resist the captivating charm of Hawaii. Its breathtaking natural beauty, perfect weather, and famous aloha culture really create such a strong sense of belonging that are the reason that most people end up staying for good. Hawaii isn't just a place to live, it's a lifestyle where you live in harmony with nature and ohana, the Hawaiian word for family. You embrace and respect the culture, and it has just an all-around wonderful lifestyle of aloha, what locals have known for generations. The beauty, the tranquility, the sense of belonging, that's what makes it difficult to leave. If you think we've missed a main reason why people leave Hawaii in our video, or if you have any questions on anything we didn't cover here, leave us a comment below. Also, if you're interested in learning more about the real estate market in Oahu or any of the Hawaiian Islands in general, always feel free to reach out to us. You can give us a call or send us an email or shoot us a text. My contact info is below. Whether you plan to move in the next 9 days or 90 days, we're happy to help assist you in this competitive market when it's your time to buy your dream home or real estate investments. Our goal here at Home Sweet Home Hawaii is to make your process as smooth and as stress-free as possible. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video to be helpful, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, tap the like button for us, and tap the notification bell. That way, you can be the first to know when we publish a new video and keep you informed in the Hawaii real estate market. Mahalo, and until next time, aloha.